Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect, starting with the tabernacle of David, as well as the large multitude, the rest of the men, women, and children whom the Lord will have mercy on. And I wanted to do a lesson pertaining to a biblical law that was brought up in question on this live stream yesterday by Sonetter last night. As I was, just kicking back, I saw this live stream and I just clicked on it, and this is the timestamp it was on as he was talking. And Sonetter, of course, is speaking on the Bible. Now, the interesting part or fact or thing about that is that, here it is. He's supposed to be pro-Kemet, back to Africa. But if you notice, when you watch his channel, the only thing he speaks about is the Bible at this point. All right, whether he's bringing someone on to talk about it and, ask questions in condescending ways, all right, or whether he brings in some sort of African Negro scholar to sort of condemn the Bible. It's all surrounded around the Bible. And I will say this: he sees that the mark of the beast prophecy is coming to pass. All right, he sees it more than particular Hebrew Israelite teachers. All right, now all he does is mock the Bible. Now, if you see behind him, he has Harriet Tubman, the whole Africa thing. And the narrative is that the Bible was either fake or that it was stolen from these Egyptian texts. All right. And my question is always, well, when are you all going to use those Egyptian texts that the scriptures were stolen from and teach our people? What should we do? All right. What should we do about this jab that's coming out? Okay. What's happening next? Are we going to be in America forever? Okay, what's next for us as a people? Do we just get a few banks, clean up our credit, and continue in the system as be? What's going to happen? Okay, they mock the existence of a higher power, but then you go into ancient Kemet and they worshipped all sorts of gods. Okay, so it's all over the place. And what I attribute it to is ultimately, just as Jake walked, 40 years in a circle in the wilderness, if it was up to these guys, that's what they would do. All right. That's why we have to thank Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai that, he set up a remnant, okay, to stand on what is true. All right. Whether they hear or forbear, these prophecies are coming to pass. Now, in this live show, he's speaking to a Hebrew brother. He's not a GMS, but he's a Hebrew. He's some sort of bishop. I don't know his doctrine. I don't really know exactly who he is, but he's talking to Sonetter, and as usual, Sonetter is asking questions in a mocking and condescending manner. And I'm going to play this part where he asks about what we know as the Levirate law, okay, where if you have two brothers, all right, and the one brother has a wife, but he never had a child by her, all right? If the one brother who had a wife with no child died, okay, the other brother, by law, was to go in unto her to raise up seed, and there's various purposes behind that, which we'll get into. Now, of course, using, mocking terms and to sensationalize things and evoke emotions. He's just focusing on the sex part, which in this Western culture, there are biblical laws that when you read them, you'll be taken back by them. Okay, we've all went through that. All right. Now, but at the end of the day, when you go into these Hamitic customs and laws, a lot of them are far worse. Okay, which they're saying we need to go back to our African and Kemet ways. Okay, which those Egyptians did a bunch of nasty and crazy shit. Okay, putting crocodile dung inside of women for the purpose of them not getting pregnant. Okay, all sorts of weirdo shit, man. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna just go ahead and play this video, and what we're gonna also show you is that various African cultures did this exact law that he's mocking. You see? But of course, when we bring out our scholarship and research, it doesn't matter. But anyway, let's go ahead and play this video, and then we'll get some edification.
Child, male child,
Let me
2
ask you
years
a
and
question,
younger.
brother. Is it all right? Let's say my brother had passed away. Is it all right for me to now go inside of his wife and, say, you know what, my brother's no longer here. Let me go inside of my brother's wife and, try to do something there. Is that cool?
Today, that's up to you and
It
your
doesn't matter
his
today.
wife.
I'm asking you, is that cool, brother? Because when you say
Hey,
today, why you say today?
Because you,
We say today because there are particular laws, statutes, and commandments and customs that we couldn't keep today. You see? Now, when you go into that law, we'll show you that there was far more involved than just sex. There was a purpose behind that law. Okay?
said you.
Yes, I'm
You
saying
said
me.
if I.
I'm saying me.
Yeah, you.
Is that
so if you
good?
did that,
Is that
so
all
I'm
right?
saying today, it's all right by me. If it's all right by you and her,
So
I don't
you
care.
would try to have sex with your brother's wife? You would go inside your brother's wife?
No, I said it's upset. I said by you. I wouldn't do that because I regard my brother's wife as my sister.
But it tells you that
Yeah,
in your
today I
law.
wouldn't.
It tells you that in your Bible.
What?
It says if your
Yeah,
brother
that was our custom.
if your
That-
brother
that
if your
was-
brother for somehow passes away and you are here, it tells you to go ahead and fuck your brother's wife, bro.
And see, he's using the terms fuck and see, things in our ancient culture, all right, it wasn't just about sex. There's a purpose behind this law, and we'll get it. And this is what they do. They constantly ask these same questions. They constantly try to sensationalize. They constantly try to tear down the scriptures and look at their lives. Look at look at their practices. Now, this is the same guy who gave African Bambata a pass, who's a damn pedophile. And you're cool with that guy. You didn't use your platform to condemn that guy and try to get his ass put in jail behind those accusations. You tiptoed around it. You see, here it is. All of these niggas on the comment board that are mocking, they sleep with each other's wives. They don't live by any sort of moral code of laws. The ma'at and all of this BS y'all talk about. Now, we're going to listen to some more of that. Yeah, I'm going to get this real quick, too. This is Ezekiel 18 and 29. Yet said the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal. And that's our people's mindset, especially these back to Africa cats, towards the scriptures. They constantly go through the Bible, which here it is. We're in a very detrimental time. Shouldn't they be teaching our people what they should be doing? If these are our leaders and who we should be listening to, all we're going to listen to you do is tear down the scriptures? What should we do? What's next? You see, all you do is try to go into the scriptures and find fault with the scriptures and mock. You see? But hey, there's going to be a heavy payback for that, man. And you'll see. All right, from the Lord. It says, yet saith the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal. O house of Israel, are not my ways equal? Are not your ways unequal? Here it is. Your ways are unequal. Look at your acts. Look at what you do. Look at your culture. Black culture. Major contradictions and perversions and wickedness being uplifted amongst you people, man. You see? And of course, when you read a lot of these laws, we were raised in a Western culture, man. And the Western culture has not worked. It's not geared towards family, which the law that we're reading about is geared towards family, inheritance rights. There's more to do with it than just fucking. That's all you niggas think about when it comes to sex is fucking, fuck. That's what you've been narrowed down to when it comes to that institution that the Heavenly Father set up between man and woman. Is fuck. It's deeper than that. Okay? This is Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways, and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein. And ye shall find rest for your souls. And they said, we will not walk there. See, we're at peace with the Lord's judgments, even if we haven't seen these particular laws implemented in our day. We trust that they work better than this bullshit that we're living in today, man, including the law on how to handle rape. Because contrary to people think that we're teaching that men just got up every day and went and raped women, and that's the end all be all. They're not thinking about the fact that there's judgments on the situations concerning the rape. Because rape happens, how do you judge it according to your law code? You see? And one of the judgments is if she's not married or betrothed, the man would have to pay the father a dowry, and that woman would have to be his wife. You break, you buy, and you have to start a family. You have to have a responsibility. You see? So our people aren't finding rest in their souls with the scriptures because they're stuck in the West and they don't know what's best. All right, for the earth or for themselves. They eat shrimp, catfish. All of the things that are supposed to clean the earth are the standard in our people's diets. Why? Because they're not at rest with the old paths. They're not at peace with their power. And it's destroying them. Let's get Jeremiah the 18th chapter. We'll get to that law. All right, Jeremiah the 18th chapter in the 15th verse says, because my people have forgotten me, they have burned incense to vanity, all right, and they have caused them to stumble in their paths from the ancient paths, to walk in in paths, all right, in a way not cast up. Okay, now the psychological shock that you'll get when you read this law. Of course, not understanding the ancient custom, not understanding the culture, not understanding that there is more to one way of life than just growing up in America and seeing this BS, which hasn't worked for us. Okay? Here it is, Esau's telling your children that they can change their sex at 8 years old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, without their parents' consent, and none of you are making a big fuss. All of these perversions that are being set up around you, targeting your people, none of you are really making a big deal about it. But what you're doing is what the ancient niggas did to the ancient prophets. And it's okay. All right? Deuteronomy 25:5. Here's the law he's speaking of. If brethren dwell together and one of them die, okay, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. All right. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. All right. Now, notice it says if he has no child. What is the purpose of a child? To pass down an inheritance. So if this brother has no child and passes away, the brother is to go in unto her and raise up child. Let's listen. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name. It's about forwarding a name. See? Of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. Okay? His name be not put out of Israel. Okay? He shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out, man. All right? That is the purpose of this marriage. That is the purpose of him going into his deceased brother's wife with no child. Now, if they already had children, he wouldn't have to do this. You see? The inheritance will be passed through that son, that child. Now, keep going. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, because that happened before too. Some men would be like, I'm not doing that. Then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refused to raise up his brother's name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. And the elder of the city shall call him and speak unto him, And if he stand by it, and if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come in unto him in the presence of the elders and loose his shoe from off his foot and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. Okay? And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that have loosed his shoe. All right, that hath his shoe loosed. And shoes being loosed and taken off is synonymous with land and the transfer of property in ancient Israel. You can look that up, okay, in your own time. Okay? Now, here's another law that if you saw this, you would bug out. If two men are striving, okay, and the wife of the other comes and kicks the other ones in the nuts, okay, her hand would get cut off. You see how harsh that is? If you saw that, you bug out. So yeah, there are laws that when you hear them, you be like, what? Because of how we were raised. All right. However, this was how it was done. Now, let's listen to a little bit more of that video, and then we're going to go into a little history to explain that.
Brother, it tells you that.
It says take her as a wife.
It's still the same shit.
So then I can raise
your
up
brother
seed.
wife.
See, you in black culture, husband and wife is all distorted with what Esau's put out there, man. There's a responsibility and a legacy attached to a husband and a wife. Okay? Inheritance rights. It's so much more than what you niggas think. You just bust a nut, all right, and you know, go half on the tax, you know, what tax money you get back from with the baby, the child. Come on, man. This is all you guys think about. And this is what these Kemet cats do, especially the ones who got on these stocking caps. When the nigga puts on that stocking cap, he's not going to stop. He's set in his mind. Okay? Now, let's listen to a little bit more.
Right.
And
so I can raise up seed. So I can raise up
so
seed
that'll
to
be
my
all
brother's
right.
name.
So is that cool?
Sure. Yeah.
So you would do
It was cool
You
back
would take
then.
your brother's wife.
I wouldn't take her. What you mean take her?
Now here it is, all these niggas, all of these abortions that are being committed amongst so-called black women. That's never really an issue brought up. All of the children that aren't born, right? But here it is, this law is put in place so that a child is born to forward that house for the land purposes, and that name continues, and you're finding a way to mock it. How dumb is a nigga? How dumb and stupid is our people in 2021? But we understand. We understand at the end of the day, hearing something like that, okay, and not having a mind towards legacy, righteousness, or anything. But you guys are supposed to be these pro-African now. Don't you know in Africa, in certain parts of Africa, they did this very law? We'll get into that.
Brother.
What you mean take her? She wouldn't have me. I can't take her.
Right. But
If she
so
wouldn't have
what I'm
me.
saying to you is,
So she would
would
have
it
to.
be
She
all
would
right-
have to
Would
have.
it be all right for you to go and have sex with your brother's wife?
If they did not have children, and if she would have me, according
You know
to the
Bible, brother, listen, you know that there are chapters in that Bible where it talks about a brother can go and have sex with his brother's wife. It don't say nothing about marrying her. I could get
That's what it's for. We just read it. Deuteronomy 25:5. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife. And this custom was actually brought to Yahushua by some of those scribes and Pharisees that was trying to trip him up in Matthew 22. Okay? And when you deal with the book of Genesis, the 38th chapter, the book of Ruth dealt with that law. Okay, the kinsman redeemer. There's a lot of interesting history surrounding this law that ties us to the promise and everything else, man. But anyway, yes, it's to wife. But he's just focusing on the sexual part because he's black. And this is what black people do. They don't have any understanding of anything past being black in America. That's their only experience. And we supposed to throw all of this away and follow Harriet Tubman.
Get it? Don't challenge me. Please don't challenge me.
Because we just showed him that it said wife. So you're wrong, Sonetter.
I'll get it. All right? And it says you can go ahead and have sex with your brother's wife. Just raise the children. It says that.
No, if you go and have sex,
And he doesn't know what he's talking about. The other day, this dude was doing a video talking about the sacrifice. And I don't understand why it's cute to you Israelites to play around with people like this. But we're living in a time where judgment is going out. So have it at it. Have it your way. Now, I just typed in a few things here. We'll go back to that. And these are research. They always ask, where's the research? And you can look all of these things up on your own, man. Why is the practice of the Levirate marriage disappearing in Africa? What is that showing you? That it was there before. And we have more research. Levirate marriage, whereby a widow is inherited by male relatives of her deceased husband, has unacceptably been viewed as informal insurance for widows who have limited property rights. This study investigates why this widespread practice in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, what is the sub-Saharan Africa? Where is what area and landmass does that cover? All countries of sub-Saharan Africa. Look at all of these. Look at all of these countries in sub-Saharan Africa, man. Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe. There's a lot of Jakes over here in these places, man. Ghana. All right? Do your research and disprove that these things weren't practiced over there. All right? Now, let's go to another little, this is from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. And you can also find books, it's books that go into the Hebrewisms and the Hebrew practices that went on in West Africa, man. Give me 1 second here. Okay, but as always, when we bring up our research, none of it matters. And all of this Egypt shit that you niggas are talking about, you got it from the so-called white man. How about that? It was two so-called white men, all right, Franz Boas and Melville Herskovich, who were responsible for blacks being Africans and African-American studies being implemented, all right, in schools and colleges worldwide, man. Two so-called Jews. How about that? Here it is. These people got mummies doing tours with mummies, and you hear this. Where's the grave of Abraham? But these niggas got some mummies going on world tours, and that's proof that they're real. That's really them. Just because the white man is going on tour with some damn mummies, man. Get out of here, man. And you all have been cut and destroyed, even in those debates with, the likes of Nasi, Tazariak, and whoever else. You've always been cut. Priest Danyala. But it never came to nothing because there's no need for a debate. The truth is standing firm, man. Now, this is, from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Levirate unions in both the Bible and African cultures. Now, the cry for these people is we need to go back to our African culture, our African ways. You see? You see the contradictions in these people, man? Now, the guy who he's talking to, he answered it. Sometimes you get caught off guard, though. Sometimes a dude will come at you, like these guys, they'll come at you with these questions. That's why we have to study to show ourselves approved. We have to be ready. But sometimes you can be asked a question that you hadn't researched in a while. So it has to come back to you, and it's coming back to you while you're on the spot. So I'm not going to, say that the dude went off. He did, what he could on the spot, because here it is. They'll act like they're talking about one thing, but this dude won't stop. He'll ask one question, then he ask another question, then he asks another question, then he asks another question. And there's so many things that prove that the Bible is real. All right. So I'm not, saying that brother went off, which I don't know what he believes or what he teaches. All right. But it was, I guess he was some like bishop or whatever. I don't know what his name was. But, as they went on, I had to turn it off because here everybody came in. I was just like, let me get off of this. Because the comment board was just full of mocking, and I don't got time for Jake. I'm going to just do my thing. Now, going back here, this is a research paper. It says, in this paper, the researcher intends to explore the practice of Levirate unions amongst both Hebrews and Africans. It aims at highlighting the points, and I'll put these in the description box so you can click on them and look and do your own, if you're interested. All right? Because those niggas are popular. What book is that? What book that come from? Who wrote it? As if 98% of Egyptologists ain't so-called white men and women. Who translated the glyphs? A so-called white man, a Frenchman, I believe. Champollion, whatever the hell his name is. Okay? It says, aims to highlight the points of coverage and divergence between the two cultures, because Jake was in Africa. We were there when we did big things in Africa. Okay? And Africa is a beautiful landmass, but we're going to have the whole earth. You see, yeah, Africa is beautiful. It ain't like we saying to hell with Africa, the landmass, and that's not the name of it. Okay? But you all have grieved Jerusalem, as the scriptures say, man, and taken on this culture and this name that has nothing to do with you. You see, but when we were in Africa, you can type in the Hebrewisms of West Africa, as I did here, and there's research on it. There's a whole playlist here with 59 videos. Do your own research. Jews of West Africa. There's a white man, so I'm pretty sure you'll listen to him. Okay, Hebrewisms of West Africa. You just go down, there's all sorts of research on it. Ghana, Hebrewisms of West Africa. Those are Jakes over there. Israelites who were scattered. Hebrewisms of West Africa. Jake, our brothers, the brothers of Great Millstone go into it. GMS prophetic vibrations of the 144. IUIC goes into it. History, the Israelites, history of West Africa is taught in Ghanaian school. You see that? They went into it. Okay? Importance of the Hebrews in West Africa. What does rabbi mean? There's all sorts of connections, man. Hebrewisms of Levi found in West Africa. And so forth, man. There's so much information. I'll put this link in the post if you want to do your research. Because we were scattered there, man. Okay? Israelites were scattered there, man, and practiced our customs. Now let's go back here. The term Levirate comes from the Latin levir, which means a husband's brother. Levirate unions are those in which a widow is taken by one of her late husband's brothers, all right, in order to raise up children for him, all right, New World Encyclopedia. There is another form of union closely related to this called a sorotage or a sororate, all right, marriage. This is the practice in which a widower marries a sister of his late wife and so forth. And you can, read it, all right, it goes into it, okay? You can read down, it goes into linking it to Africa and all of that. All right, found this, all right? This is off of refworld.org, Nigeria. Levirate marriages practices amongst the Yoruba, Igbo, Hasu, Fulani, all right, consequences for a man or woman who refuses to participate in the marriage, all right, availability of state protection, okay? So these things still go on into this day in certain cases, man. They still do these things, okay? Marriages in Nigeria take place under 3 legal systems, all right, yada, yada, yada. All right, jumping down here. So it's in their law. It's in some of their laws, man. Levirate marriage, where a family member inherits a married woman's. All right, and I'm rushing through it because I got to roll. Husband is dead. All right. July 2002 continues to practice under various customary law system in Nigeria. All right. Levirate practices amongst the Yoruba. All right. Levirate practices amongst the Igbo. And I'm going to put these things, all right, in the description box so you can click on them and look them up yourself. All right. And I'm going to read this. And then we'll look at some more of that video and then we'll end it off. All right. It says the Levirate marriage in the Bible. The term Levirate marriage, all right, we already got that. It says, if a married man died without son, his brother was to marry the widow. The practice is reflected in 3 Old Testament texts. Genesis 38 with Judah, okay, showing you that the law was oral, okay, because these are the descendants of Adam, which is another thing he was mocking. Where did the term Hebrew and where it is, and all of this, he doesn't understand the scriptures, man. This is a legacy that was passed down from Adam through Abel, but Seth came because Abel was slew. And when you read it, these are the sons of God. This was continued, okay, from Noah through Shem, okay, who eventually had Arphaxad. As you go down the line, Shelah has Ibar, which is the Lord letting us know that the legacy from the past, the Hebrew, okay, the legacy from the past survived the Tower of Babel and and was forward on down the line, all right, through Ibar, Hebrew. You get that in Genesis, the 11th chapter. And then as you go down the line, there was a falling away. Then Abraham pops up, but the Lord restores that legacy. Okay, what does that legacy entail? The laws. Okay, Adam was given the laws, man. Okay, divine intervention. You see? Now, at the time of Judah, they practiced that without it being written on stone. The laws were written on stone eventually at the time of Moses. All right, but let's go back here. It says the purpose of the law in Deuteronomy was to prevent loss of family property. I bet you didn't know that, huh, Sonetter? Are those Africans, which you believe are Africans, dumb for doing it? Okay. Loss of family property by the widows marrying outside the clan. Okay, if she then goes and marries outside the clan, then that property, okay, you have to have a kinsman redeemer. All right, which is what Boaz did in the book of Ruth. Okay, if y'all want to check that out, we did lessons on that as well. All right. It says the law applied only in the case of brothers who had lived together and worked common property. You see that? But see, Sonetter doesn't know that. You see, Sonetter doesn't know that. That's why it says if they dwell together. See that? And in certain cases, if the other one died off, then there would be another kinsman redeemer. If he didn't want to do it, another kinsman redeemer, and so forth, man. Okay? The law applied only in the case of brothers who had lived together and worked common property. The Levirate marriage, see, Sonetter is just thinking of 2 brothers. One's a rapper and one's an ex-running back for the Falcons, okay? And the brother died, and he at the funeral looking at the wife's ass, with a flip phone in his pocket, thinking about, man, I'm gonna get me one. Man, I always wanted Rhonda. That's what he's thinking about, and that's what he's picturing. But see, the Bible is far above a nigga's mind. See, this, ladies and gentlemen, this is black. You ain't gonna get nowhere being black. Okay? It's just being honest, man. You gotta call it like it is, man. Says the Levirate marriage would ensure issue to the deceased see. I got to roll. To the deceased and passed the inheritance to the firstborn of the new union. Later, the Levirate law applied only if no child was born, since the daughters could inherit. Numbers 27:8. You can read that. If the brother-in-law refused to marry his sister-in-law, took off the sandal publicly and spat in his face because he refused to build up his brother's house. In Ruth, okay, in default of a brother-in-law, the relatives had the duty of marrying the widow in order of nearness of kinship to her. Both widow and relative could refuse to marry in this case without disgrace, and that happened at the time of Ruth. The next in line, he was like, once he figured out Ruth was a part of getting the land, he was like, well, I can't do it. That's going to ruin my inheritance. Okay? He probably already had a setup. He probably didn't need any more women. He was like, I'm good. I don't want no more women. You had that right. Okay? But it says, then it talks about in Matthew 20 something how that custom was brought up to the Messiah and so forth. But let's listen to a little bit more of this and then we'll close it out. Now we have understanding of that for anyone who's this question is brought to by these Kemet guys, man. And go into these Kemet laws, man. Let's go into the Kemet, creation story. There's about 4 of them. A lot of them deal with some very weird practices, man. They're jacking off on lettuce, busting the galaxies into existence. All type of weird stuff, man. Beating off in the Nile River because you worship the river. Come on, man.
You're marrying her.
See, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that
That's
cool
marriage.
with you? Is that cool with you?
If it's cool with her, yes, it will be cool. According to
It's cool with the Most High. It's not about her. It's not about me. It's about what the Most High wants. Okay? And even if it seems uncomfortable, we have to trust. We trust His way. Point blank. Period, man. Just like the stoning of a rebellious child. Seeing that would bug you out. But what it would lead to is order. All right? If a priest's daughter is go out and play the whore, like Cardi B, let's say she's a priest's daughter and she goes out doing that, you would burn her alive. What would that entail? The rest of the children, the little girls will be like, I ain't growing up and be like no goddamn Cardi B. But in black culture, that's okay. Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and all of these various different ways of destruction are accepted and uplifted. No niggas ain't on the comment board mocking that. Ooh, that's sexy. Bitch laying with a snake. Damn cheetah in the background. Ooh, that's sexy. Wop. And then if you got a problem with it, you gay. Get your nasty. You Kemet clowns, man.
the Hebrew law, yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but now if she had a son, no. But if she didn't have a son, yes.
But if she had a son, why
According
not?
to Hebrew law.
Why not? You still
Because-
could go ahead and
Because there's inheritance, right? That inheritance would go through to that child.
go into
The
your
purpose-
brother's wife
No, that's not what the
and
Bible
raise
teaches.
and
Don't
raise the
do that.
seed. What you talking about?
No. If she has a son, if she has an inheritance, it's only for inheritance, son. So if she has my brother's son, no, there would be no
And
reason.
see, you could tell it's coming back to him now. Like, okay, he's breaking it down.
For me to go into her and raise a seed unto my brother's name. There would be no reason for that.
Brother, that's
No,
not true.
that would not be proper.
That
that was shown to-
would be all the more reason why you
You could just look at him and see he's condescending, and that goddamn stocking cap just makes him a complete nigga. And I'm sorry, man. I'm just talking crazy. But come on, man.
go into your brother's wife, so you can now
No.
take on that responsibility of
You
raising
can take
that
on the
son.
responsibility. You can take on the responsibility of raising that son without going into the wife.
Well, that's not
Without
what
doing
your
it.
that's not what your God say, brother. In
Yes,
fact,
it is. You show me
We just read it.
different.
in fact, your
You show
God
me
got
different.
mad and killed the man because he pulled out when it was time for him to shoot that sperm inside of that womb.
Hey.
He didn't wanna bust a nut inside of her. He didn't want to take
Hey,
her in that.
Marcus,
He just came through to have a good time. Like some of the brothers do today. Have a good time. And he pulled out. He like, hold up. I'm not gonna bust a nut, but I'm gonna fall back. And the Most High got mad at him and killed him because his seed fell on the floor. And so what did the Most High do? What did the Most High do to him because his seed fell on the floor?
by him sinning, death came to him.
I'm gonna ask you again. What did the Most High do to this man because he didn't bust his seed inside of the womb, but he pulled out? What did the Most High do to him?
He took his life because he sinned. And
How did
by
he sin? How?
Because the law was oral at this time, and he refused to do it. And he's referring to the book of Genesis, the 38th chapter. All right, verse 8. And Judah said unto Onan, and you can read this whole. I did a whole breakdown on this before. Go into thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed unto thy brother, because he'd passed away. And Onan knew that the seed, all right, should not be his, because it was for the purpose of inheriting rights of the brother. And it came to pass when he went into his brother's wife, and that he spilled it on the ground. He pulled out, all right, lest that he should give seed unto his brother. He's like, well, if I can't take on the inheritance right, shit, you know. And what happened? And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. So the Lord has the right. He had the right to slay him because he's the Lord. That's what he wanted done, and he did it. But at this point, the laws were not written on stone. We didn't have Deuteronomy the 20. That happened at the time of Moses. Before that, the laws were oral, and they were passed down from Adam. Okay? 2 Esdras 3:5, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thy hands, and didst breathe unto him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. Like you have these Kemet clowns on the internet with these memes. How is Adam and Eve? If Adam and Eve was the first two people on earth, how did Cain get a wife? Well, no, the Bible doesn't say Adam and Eve were the first two people on earth. Adam represents the first to be given that divine law, that order, which was passed down to Abel because he had a righteous sacrifice. All right, he was put to death. Then Seth. This legacy established the sons of God. Okay? And thou didst lead them into paradise, which thy right hand had planted. All right? And verse 7 is the point. And thou gavest him commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed. So Adam was given the commandments. All right? So that was an oral tradition at this time, showing you, okay, that Adam was a priest. Okay? He was the first priest on earth. Okay? But the Most High ultimately put him to death, and eventually Judah ended up, all right, fulfilling the duty. But you can read that ultimately, you know, in your own time. I'm going to roll out. Let's listen to a little bit more of this.
How did he sin?
Because he did not keep the Levitical law.
It wasn't the Levitical law. See, at that time, it was an oral tradition. The Levitical law came at the time of Moses.
What are you talking about? What law? What law are you talking about, brother? You just said, oh my God, man. What law is that?
What law is that?
God told
His brother
him,
died.
hold up. God told him to go inside of that woman. He said, go inside of your brother's wife.
God didn't tell him that. God didn't tell him that. The law told him
man.
that.
Hold up, man. Hold up. Who?
The law told him that.
Let's see, now he's going off.
Actually, it was Jacob. It was
Judah.
Jacob that told his son to do that. But his son was a heathen.
Oh, no. So now...
You know, and his first two sons, they went.
No, these were Judah's sons, brother. Okay? These were Judah's sons. Okay? They weren't heathen. But anyway... Now, there was a Canaanite woman there at the time that he went unto. All right? Y'all go curse Judah out for laying with a Canaanite woman. But anyway, man, I'm going to leave it there. You know, let's see what else. Let me look at a little bit more just to see what Sadetta says.
Were heathens. No question.
brother, you just didn't know. Don't start just spewing any goddamn thing when you don't know, man.
You know, I mean, what can you say? They were heathens, man. They did
They were not heathens, man.
not obey the laws of God, and so they suffer for it.
And what was the laws of God? What was the law?
And there's various proofs that the law was oral. All right, before it was written on stone.
All was
The laws written on stone is the Lord reintroducing himself and making a covenant, okay, with the nation of Israel at the time of Moses when they were in Egypt.
the simple fact that Tamar died, her husband died, without giving her seed for an inheritance.
So they can ask me a question. So you can come into
All right,
it if you
that
hit the
sounds
link.
good.
So the link.
All right, so hopefully I edified on to the next one. And there's a little bit more I may go into on this live stream because I turned it off. Then Spirit had me go back. He was talking about some other stuff. Can easily be explained, but you know, at the end of the day, why in the hell are y'all continuously reading the Bible when you don't believe in it? What should we do? What's next, nigga? Shalom.